Toledo City Council focusing on the future financial situation of the Glass City, but the clock is ticking right now. The annual budget has to be approved by next Tuesday.
In next week's meeting agenda, members are calling for $10 million in cuts to the 2027 and 2028 budget.
Steve Iwanicki had a chance to speak to some council members earlier today. He joins us now live. They are definitely under a time crunch.
Yeah, Jeff and Kaylee, I was told by some members that it's urgent. City council members feel that $10 million in cuts over the next couple of years is the right thing to do in order to put the city in the best position possible in the future financially. But in the meantime, they've still got some work to do, and they have to approve this year's budget. And as mentioned, they're running out of time.
Driscoll, here.
Money is on the mind of leaders in the Glass City, and if you ask Councilman George Sarantu, he'd say Toledo needs to pinch a few pennies.
We have to do that because if we don't, in a couple of years, we're not going to have any money left.
Sarantu points to the city's rainy day fund, expected to reach about $50 million by the end of the year. It's money set aside for emergencies, but he warns without changes, it could be drained.
And we're not fooling around with that.
So he says it starts with this year's budget and beyond. In November, Mayor Wade Kapsakavich proposed a $392 million budget for this year. That's money for things like police, fire, and road repairs. But Sarantu says council felt that the price tag was a little too much to ask for. So now
we have about $9,500,000 of additional cuts that we're looking at that we have to make a decision on.
So where could cuts be made? Sarantu says one option is not eliminating, but scaling back new police and fire classes.
We would have a class of 25. Originally, we were looking at perhaps 35 for police. Originally for fire, we were looking at 25. We would take that down to 20. That all has to be approved by the City Council.
If you ask fellow Councilman Adam Martinez, he'd tell you Toledo can also focus on being more intentional with projects and spending.
If we're replacing a sidewalk, 3 weeks later, we don't have to come back and rip it up because we're replacing the sanitary or the storm sewer. I think just having a very focused and comprehensive approach to development and infrastructure.
Overall, both councilmen tell me that a budget of around $380 million for 2026 sets a better tone for the future.
Now is the time to start to incrementally start steering the fiscal ship to make sure we're a little bit more prudent and intentional on our spending.
Now, I did reach out to the mayor's office to see if they would offer us a comment about the ongoing budget discussions, but I've not heard back yet. As mentioned before, the budget has to be approved by City Council by March 31st, which is next Tuesday, and Councilman Sarantu says he expects Council to vote on it at its meeting next Tuesday. In downtown Toledo, Steve Iwanicki, WTOL 11.